This is Dr. Flight. I hope you're doing well today. This is going to be a pretty short video, and this is one of 4 different videos that surrounds the idea of choosing different market segments. So the choice or the selection of market segments in order to for the company to go forward is a big decision. During this process, we do segmenting first, usually, where we take a homogeneous market of consumers, or a mass market of people who have a specific need or want, and then what we do is we look to regroup those consumers into smaller groups or segments that share something in common, and then the next decision to make is to choose which segments that you want to make a concerted effort to target or to try to reach. And we do this through positioning. So the positioning, targeting, segmenting, those are 3 activities that all happen more or less at the same time, and they help define the strategy that companies will use in terms of how they'll grow and kind of how they'll be defined and things like that. So primarily there are two issues or 2 components here, and these won't be unfamiliar to you. These will be fairly straightforward, I think, and there's a couple visuals to let you think about or to show you this application. But basically, we want to make sure that we have the ability to deliver benefits to the customer that they want, and so those are capabilities and your strategic position among competitors in order to, again, match the product attributes and features or services that the customers need and want. And we learn what they need and want from positioning and from some of the other work that we did when we did customer profiling and things like that. When we do those activities, we know what the customer wants, and then we have to assess whether our company has the ability to deliver on those specific details that will drive customers or motivate them to buy your product. The second thing that we're going to look at, or that's a component here, is the general attractiveness of the market segment itself. And there's a second video on that specifically. But this 2x2 sort of dynamic, again, for whatever reason in marketing, we like to do these 2x2 models. And again, we have kind of on one axis the strength of the company's or the ability of the company to deliver what the customers want within a specific market segment, and can we do that? And then the other deals with, again, how attractive that market segment is. So with this in mind, let's consider these 4 different categories that are outlined here. There's the go for it, there's a corner, diagonal, we're not really sure, there's a second one, and then there's finally the avoid and stay away from category. And again, we'll see this again with another picture here in a moment, with some specific strategies or names for these segments, if you will. But in the go for it area, we're talking about something like, in the example that I've provided here, a sports apparel company that recognizes that there's a type of sport like maybe youth volleyball that's growing very rapidly, and that seems to be a very attractive market because it's growing fast and there's a lot of opportunity perhaps to make sales and to have market share and things like that. So if it's an attractive market segment, in the sense that it meets a lot of the criteria that we need in order to grow, and we have the capabilities to deliver specific products to that specific market, then clearly this is going to be a core product. This is going to be a base of our business that's going to be important to us. The diagonals run into little problems here, and basically the idea is, in one case, we see attractive markets, ones that are growing rapidly or ones that look profitable. We'd love to be in them, but we don't have the specific ability to deliver on core features that the customers in that segment want. And again, this is segment specific detail that you have to think about. Now, our goal here would probably be to acquire or to try to develop those fine-tuned skills to deliver key features so that we could capture some of that market growth or in that attractive segment. But first we have to acquire those skills. In the other category, we have skills, we have abilities and skills, but the market is no longer attractive to us. This is much more problematic of a situation. This is a harder thing to deal with. Because we have to be able to take our skills or the things that we do exceptionally well, and we need to transition them to another market that values them, that wants them, or that needs them. And I would argue that's probably a harder task to do. But both of these corners, the diagonals going left, bottom left to upper right, pose challenges but opportunities, I guess, is the best way to think about that. So there are possibilities. There's possible growth in those spaces. The bottom right corner where we say avoid, clearly this is a market segment that's not going to work for us. We can't deliver to them the specific elements that they need in the product. And that market segment's either not growing, or it's not profitable, or it's not a good fit for us, or it's too competitive, or there are some other contributing factors that would suggest that the market just doesn't look good to us. And so there's no reason to even dwell in that space. It's not going to be a possibility for us in that specific market segment. So we'll move forward with that. Okay, so again, I want you to kind of just reinforce this idea of balancing what you can deliver to the customer in respect to what they want and need in this market segment, to the attractiveness or the appeal of that market segment. Okay, the same thing can be repeated here. It's another chart. It's another look at the same message, basically. Again, we have our two axes. There's the up and down space, which deals the same way with competitive positioning, or your competitive ability to, or your ability to compete on the features that customers want. And then from left to right, we have the attractiveness of the market. And we go from high to low on the attractiveness, and then we go from strong to weak on up and down, down on the competitiveness side. And now though, we have 4 different named strategies that we can use or think about as far as going forward here. The core business is going to be that business that is fundamental to the company, the thing that we do particularly well, matched with a market that's very attractive. And this is a great fit. This is one of these deals where you have you could strip away all the other business elements, and you'd be left with this piece. Sometimes companies expand too rapidly, or they expand, they become very diverse, and then they have to contract. And when they contract, they sell off all the side businesses, leaving them with their core. And that's what this core is. An illustration I would suggest is Disney. And if you say, well, what is Disney's core business? And to me, their core business is the acquisition and the management of their character and figure media rights. So if you think about Disney and you think about what they do, they very much are about the characters that they've developed and acquiring new ones, like for instance through Marvel, and then using the rights to those characters to spin off a bunch of other products. So their theme parks, for instance, are all based on the rights they have to characters to a great extent. A lot of the media that they produce, a lot of the TV shows, a lot of the movies, those types of things relate to that. And they've expanded, of course, to own other media companies and movie production companies and such. But at the end of the day, if they had to sell everything off and focus on their core, it would be based on the ability or the rights they have to the many characters that they possess, that they're legally own, that they have. Okay, so the core business then is going to be what they defend, what they put a lot of their resources into, and what they really define themselves as. Now, the peripheral businesses or peripheral market segments would be those where they have strong ability to compete, but those market segments aren't as attractive as the core business segments are. The firms are very well equipped to deliver and to produce the product that the customer wants, but this market segment may be secondary, right? It's a secondary type of a space. It's not primary to what their business model looks for. They could eliminate these and still have their core business. But however, these alone, peripheral side segments or adjacent segments, sometimes I think of them as, aren't strong enough on their own merit to carry the entire business model forward. They don't, the markets they serve aren't large enough, or they aren't significant enough. One example I use for this is if you have a skincare company, kind of like Olay, who has a number of different brands under their portfolio, but they're really a skin care company. Well, Olay also has some products in the sun care space, which of course is skincare, so it's all makes sense. But the sun care market isn't particularly large compared to other skincare markets that are there. So if a person uses a daily moisturizer year round, they're using a lot of volume. It's a product that has consistent sales throughout the year. It's a big market. A lot of people use daily moisturizers. So it's really profitable and really large. The sun care is a little bit different though. It's because it's seasonal and people only use it in special needs. The sales fluctuate a lot, and the size of the market is much, much smaller. So it would be difficult to build your entire business model just on sun care if you're Olay, for instance. However, it would be easy to add that market segment on to the other products because it will complement the other products they offer. So it kind of makes sense to have your core business and facial creams and then have a peripheral business or segment that you try to reach be sun care, but you can't reverse it around. You can't rely exclusively on sun care for your business model to work because it's not large enough. It's not, and it's again highly seasonal, and sales are a little sketchy sometimes, or not as consistent anyways. Okay, so if I went back and looked at this again, if you wanted to look at this image again, those are the core business and peripheral businesses where we have strong abilities to reach the market, but we're reaching them for different reasons. The other two categories, one of which of course will be the avoid category or the dead end business space. There's not really a lot to say about that other than this is a space we're not going to pursue, right? We're not going to pursue market segments that are unattractive, that we have difficulty reaching. Those won't be the first ones we try to reach anyways. That would be, we're going to find a lot of other better opportunities before we have to start engaging in dead-end businesses. We wouldn't do that. The illusionary businesses, though, are another area where we feel like we're very equipped skill-wise to deliver to a market, but the market, we're not skilled, or we don't have a strong ability to reach a market, but the market is very attractive. This is one of those where we're going to have to go out and get resources. We're going to have to acquire or develop the skills to deliver exactly what that market segment wants, and we don't have those. We don't have those in-house for us to be able to do. Again, it's certainly a possibility. There's not, this is certainly a strategy folks do where they see a hot new market segment emerge, and they retool themselves to be able to deliver into that market segment. So again, it's just like peripheral businesses. You have to manage it a little bit, but they're good, solid opportunities there outside of your core if you're growing in particular. And that's kind of, that's the basis of it. Okay, so this is just an introduction then to selecting market segments. Again, another video talks about the different criteria that we'll use to analyze a market segment to determine whether it is attractive or not. As you move forward, as you're selecting your markets, those are the steps that we take. Let me know if you have any questions. It's great reaching out to you, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks.